Hey everyone, thanks for joining. I have a really special guest today, actually a friend of mine from the Fresno area, who's going to share his experience with flipping, right? We've had a lot of buy and hold investors. We've had some wholesalers on here recently. I wanted to make sure we got back to flipping because again, that can be someone's path to financial independence. It can be their path, to building a portfolio. And we have Adam Abadjan with me today. How you doing, Adam?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, Michael.
You got it, brother. So real quick, just tell the world where you are, what you do, how long you've been doing it, just a basic introduction of yourself.
Hey, so like Michael said, I'm Adam. I'm based out of Fresno, California. I've been flipping full time for just under 2 years now. I've had a blast with it. I love it absolutely so much. Um, like I said, yeah, just been doing it full time for 2 years. Besides that, I'd worked in a coffee shop before that and got really, really intrigued by this. So took the leap, started learning as much as I could, and really got into it as fast as I could. And from there, I've just been trying to do all I can really to scale up and move forward. It's definitely been a very big struggle. So it's not as pretty as a lot of people may think it is. But I'm getting through it and having a lot of fun in the meantime.
Yeah, that's great. And we're going to talk about all of that. We're actually going to go back to the beginning, right? So you're working at the coffee shop.
hmm
You're probably seeing real estate investors, right? Every time I go to a coffee
Yes.
shop, they're kind of sitting there with their laptops open, maybe having little meetings and stuff. Was that obvious, or were you so focused on making the drinks you never saw it?
No, I didn't really like making the drinks, to be honest with you. And the first person I saw was a guy sitting with his laptop, and that was Jason Pritchard, actually.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
and yeah, and he was the first guy to take me out and check out his houses, maybe 2.5, 3 years ago, something like that. And I was just, that sparked so much interest in me because I was actually walking through them, seeing that it was a real thing and people could do it. I had never even seen an active flip, so something like that was awesome. And
Jason is a one of a kind gem.
yeah, he is 100%. So I was in there. I was constantly learning about it. Probably by the end of high school, I was just watching YouTube videos. I watched so much Grant Cardone. My ears were just like with his name. I remember that. I was just trying to learn all I could for the most part. And then I actually met my partner Wayne in there as well. He had come in one day, and we started talking about real estate a little bit in the back. And I ended up sparking up a partnership with him and working with him. And that kind of led me to try and stray away from that coffee shop. But, like I said, it's a little bit difficult getting started. It's not just you find the idea and you can leave. It takes a long time. You get paid when you're done, not when you first get a deal or when you start or when you show up. It's only when you're finished.
Well,
So,
people need to hear that
mm,
because a lot of people, I mean, if Wayne comes in and talks to me, right? I've been in the game forever, right? I would be excited. But then you're right? The excitement wanes, the work builds, and the checks are at completion, which on a flip are like
yeah,
90 days, 120
yeah,
days out, depending, right? Lipstick or a real, construction job.
yeah.
Um, talk about that decision, right? So you're still at the coffee shop. You met Jason, you met Wayne, clearly enamored. So nice of those guys to be who they are. Just great
Oh,
people.
100%. Yeah.
Now they leave. You're by yourself. You're making coffee for the morning run or afternoon run. What is that little? What's drilling in your head? Like you've got to get away from coffee and
Yeah.
your
So
own path.
I think once I really got into wanting to do real estate and knowing that I can make money doing this, and I really, really had that entrepreneurial shift in my head that was like, I can make my own money, do my own thing. Once I really got that and then started seeing that it was possible, my mind started to shift like, okay, you can't be here anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. There's other ways that I can do stuff for myself and grow. And so I stuck around for probably about 4 or 5 months still. But I was there all through our first deal. And I was just really, really waiting to get out because I knew once I got out, I could take my time and put it into that business and watch that grow. So
So
that's what
let's give everybody kind of a feeling of where you were. So, you were what, 19, 20?
no, I was 18 actually. Yeah, so I was younger.
Oh, I am so proud of you. That is
I'm
awesome.
20. I'm 20 right now, so that would have been, yeah, I think 18 because I was right
Oh,
out of high school.
dude, you are so awesome. I think that is so great. Man, I wish I started at 18. Okay, so you're 18. You're still at the coffee shop, and you're going through your first deal. let's talk about the first deal. So you're still working.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate that first deal. How'd you find it? What was it? Let's give it all its glory.
So that one was off a Bandit sign, which is funny because my partners told me you'll never get a deal off a Bandit sign. Uh, so
that's old people.
Yeah.
We're just old. We don't get it.
I don't know if they can put them up anymore. I still can. That's the thing. So I did get one off a Bandit sign. It took me a little bit of, took me a while to really negotiate the deal down. And Wayne definitely helped me out with that and speaking with the seller. I think the hard part for me was he was not in a good mood ever. And so he would call me 5, 6, 7 times in a row at work if there was a problem. And it would stress me out. I was always, when I would see a text or a call from him, which is every day, I would just flip out just because I didn't want it to fall apart.
Now, this was the seller, just so we're clear.
This was the seller, yes.
Okay, so you actually don't have the deal yet. You got a motivated seller.
Contract.
Yeah. Okay.
All in all, we got it wrapped up and finished and closed escrow.
It was how long? How, like 2 weeks? Five weeks?
I think this was a 14-day escrow. Yeah. So this wasn't too long. I think it was about a 152 purchase.
Okay.
And then I think we sold it at about 220. And this was I think we spent $6,500 and the rehab was done in about a week. So
wow. Okay.
That was interesting because it was my first flip. And, I had remembered the contractor going out and getting things started, but they were kind of automating it for me since it was my first deal.
Yeah.
And I go out there and realize we're all done and it's only been a week. And I was like, wow, that was so quick. I was like, are they all like this? Do you finish this quick? Put them on the market? So that was a little bit misleading, but it was still a complete deal. We did spend about $6,500, put it up on the market and sold real quick. So that one was a fun one.
All right. So let's just rewind the clock. So put out Bandit signs, right? Being a hustler, get a phone call, get a motivated seller calling you. He talks to you every day. He's a cranky you get the deal done.
Yeah.
He walks away from the closing table, 152, whatever, right? Then I'm guessing your contractor went in during the escrow to kind of figure out a lay of the land and create a plan and all of that.
Yeah. And what happens is we like to start the day we close escrow and get our guys in there as we can. Now, they're always going in beforehand, getting a plan and a layout for us. I think that's the thing we need to really look at is, okay, how are we going to transition this layout in the end to make sure it accommodates everything? It looks all right. That layout's going to fit our ARV at the back end. And so I found a couple really good contractors and a couple that, that Wayne and Brad as well, Brad.
Oh yeah.
Obviously that have, they've used and learned how to kind of work with them. And so realizing how to work with the contractors, trust me, I'm still getting down to that. I'm not a pro at that at all, but getting to work with them and finding good relationships has been interesting, but also fun to see because when you find a good person, they can really make your life a lot less stressful in this industry for sure.
Amen to that. So I'm just trying to wrap my head around these numbers. So let's say 152, let's say you put in $8,000 closing costs, repair costs, all of that, just so it's a round number. 160, you sell it for 220. I'm guessing via the MLS. So you paid some commissions and all of that, or that no?
Correct.
Okay, so let's just figure 6%. Let's just say $20,000. So you made roughly $40,000, probably a little bit more than $40,000 on that first flip, and then you probably partnered with somebody.
So this was Wayne and my partners, Wayne and Brad, have been able to fund me on these deals and work with me on these deals. And one thing that I've been so thankful for is the fact that they've been able to, like I said, fund stuff, but also come in and give me so much knowledge and so much experience with just almost anything, whether it comes with rehabs, negotiation, knowing what to pick out on the house, just little details. Like there's no YouTube videos and there's no books that really give you that in-depth experience besides being out on the field. It's very hard to get that. Yeah.
So that's awesome. So let's scratch that a little bit because again, lots of people in your position where they have the interest, the fire, maybe they've done some casual networking in their circle. But what you did that was kind of unique, in my opinion, is you didn't know Brad or Wayne or Jason at all, right? You expanded your network openly, right? You went out seeking that. I mean, how did you find it? Was Wayne just that relationship at the coffee shop, or?
So actually, he has been a family friend.
Okay.
But even with that, I never knew he had flipped houses. So it only really came up before I had told him, hey, I'm looking to flip houses. And then he
Okay.
kind of was, well, I do a crap ton of flipping. So that kind of down on top. So that was very helpful. But, what I've learned is letting everyone know what you do. You
Yes.
can't have a negative effect from that. The only thing you can get is more connections.
Yep.
And, like, for example, I was at my gym and there was this girl, I always thought she was really weird. Never wanted to talk to her. Ends up, I was referred to her boyfriend that I see there all the time about a contracting job. And we just now brought him in, and he's doing a couple projects for us right now. He's helping Wayne and Brad out with some commercial units, and the dude is phenomenal. I love him. So you don't really know who you're going to talk to and who you're going to meet, and how those relationships are going to end up. So
Yeah,
you got to talk to everybody.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, again, take that lesson learned. You have to talk to everyone. You have to let everybody know what you're doing. I've said for a long time that people should have a goal of meeting 2 to 5 new people a week, right? And if you're doing that at 18 or 20, think about what your network will be when you're Brad's age, or let alone Wayne or my age. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right. You'll have Fresno wired, right? So you'd be
awesome.
You'd be the mayor of Fresno. I mean, geez.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So that's definitely a goal of mine, is to meet as many people, because everyone has different ties to different things. And I'm not just in love with real estate investing and flipping. I have other goals and aspirations as well. So just meeting other people in those arenas is just awesome.
Yeah. So, okay. So you put some money in the bank. You now know this is real. You're still at your job, if I remember our setup. I'm guessing that check makes you quit.
Huh? Oh, okay. Yeah. Back to the story. Yeah. You're correct. So that first check did make me quit. They run out a lot quicker than you think. I'll say that. So that's 100% for sure. And you don't have a ton of savings when you worked. I had some, but working at a coffee shop, you're not saving a ton. So that was a big shocker to me. But when you have that pressure, you're definitely forced to work a lot harder. That's for sure.
Yeah. So let's talk about that again, right? So you put, I'm going to guess, over 10 grand in the bank with that first deal, right? So that's
probably actually a little bit less, because I think I got hit with that right when tax season came. And I got billed for both my LLCs, and there was some other stuff, and was helping out my mom. But for the most part, I did save some money. The hard part was just knowing when the next check was going to come. That was the.
But were you smart enough to realize? Because that's what I'm trying to figure out. Were you smart enough to realize? Because I can imagine standing in line or having, if wired or whatever, but I can just visualize having the check in your hand, going to the counter, depositing the check, feeling like you figured it out, right? You can make money now.
Yeah, I did. I definitely did feel like that a little bit. I think the problem was I understood at that point there was so much more to learn.
Oh, nice.
Also, at that point, I don't think I had the confidence in myself to really go after everything I wanted. And so I knew I was holding back just a little bit. Okay. Completely honest with you, it wasn't till maybe 6 months ago or 8 months ago where I was 100% confident in myself as a flipper to handle most situations completely on my own. And that is just because I think I needed to branch out from my shell a little bit. I was worried about this objection and how to handle this, and what if this problem arises, and you can't. You just have to commit and pretty much fail forward with that.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's what I had to learn.
All right, so let's go back. What are people telling you when you say you quit your job? I mean, I'm trying to figure out your personal network, right? Your friends, your other 18, 19, 20-year-olds. What are they telling you when you say you're going to quit?
See, it's difficult because a couple of them thought that it was, don't quit your job. That's not an ideal thing. Like, it's a TV show deal. You can't really go into that. Yeah, it looks pretty on TV. It looks real pretty. But most of my friends, to be honest with you, thought it was pretty cool because no one else at this age is doing something like that for the most part.
Okay.
There's a few. And so, but let me say this also, in that time where I was learning and growing, I also stopped talking to a lot of people, which I think was very necessary to clear my mind and just use the time I had to work and think and not be distracted by others. And so the friends that I did have were the ones that were telling me that it was awesome and were kind of rooting for me.
That's awesome. I actually just put up a video, I think it's today or maybe it goes out tomorrow, called The 5 Uncomfortable Truths. Actually, I think it goes out tomorrow. Okay. And I think it's number 3 that says you need to evaluate your personal network and flush the battery drainers or the people that are negative, because You just can't
Yeah.
have that in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
It's
And
just, I
I've
mean,
learned
yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's even tough for me after 15 years and, some success. I get a battery drainer around me, I don't want to have that. I don't want to expend my limited energy fighting that off. I just need to
that.
expel them.
Yeah.
And that's
And
pretty
especially,
wise for a teenager.
yeah. Well, it's difficult because when you see a task that you want to, or your goal that you want to achieve, and you understand, like, if you can see throughout your days that you're being distracted by others and brought down and going out later at night to see people and hang out with friends, it's very easy to see where your consistency lacks because
Mm.
of those things. And I've very easily been able to see where I drift off in those areas. And so I think just for me, it's best if I just don't go out and talk to these people all the time, because I've noticed the conversations we have don't really involve anything that's making me stronger or better. It's
Nice.
just kind of some BS, up in the air.
That's awesome. Wow. I'm so proud of you. That's awesome. No,
Thank
I
you.
mean, there are, I'll just call them, and I'm in this group, old people that don't get that. Right? Let alone a youngster. I mean, I'm so impressed. And I'm saying this as a friend of his, so nobody give me hate email about calling him young. He is young. He's 20. Jesus Christ. Okay. So now that you've done, let's just call it 10 or so flips over a couple of years, do you have a favorite? I mean, do you seek 3-2-2s, or do you hunt specific problems? I mean, do you have a
I
focus
really
yet?
to be honest with you, I don't have a very specific niche of what I'm going for.
Okay.
I do target right now for, like, marketing wise, I do target a lot of areas, up and down shields. I've
Mhm.
got almost just most of my properties just along that, and so I've used that just to target a lot, and I have gotten good results from that. For the most part, what I personally like, I like 3-2s anywhere from like 14 to 1800 square feet. I really like those. And also, I feel like you get a little bit of room to do some work with them.
Mhm.
They're also the size where you're not doing something so cheap to where maybe you're not proud of it. You can really
Right.
get a nice house off of this. And I feel really proud showing my work at the end of it with those homes for
That's
the most.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then when you're marketing, is it still bandit signs, door knocking, mailers? I mean, everything? You have a
So
focus there?
yeah, so I know, and I agree with this completely, where you need to find one or two marketing sources and just master those. Um, I've been trying to do that myself, but I also have more time. I can do it more things, so I do. I'm not the hot shit yet, so I still go put up bandit signs, make my cold calls.
Nice.
I love driving for dollars, just because I feel like a lot of people don't do that, and I kind of use more guerrilla marketing tactics with that. Trying to get them at all angles, calling them from one side, texting them from another, mailing them from a third. So they're very aware of who I am and my name. Trying to use social media and emails and stuff like that a little bit more, just to see how that works with people. I want to test different things in terms of video creation and stuff like that. Why not just see kind of where I can go with it? A lot of people don't do it, so. But besides that, I do a lot of direct mail. I do a lot of guerrilla type tactics, just because I feel like I said, a lot of people aren't doing them, and I can afford to do that right now.
Sure.
And so I think that works, and I can get a lot more personable with people. And yeah, that's what I've been doing for the most part.
Yeah, and again, I think those tactics are going to probably be, I mean, they'll be part of your story for as long as you do this, because you are very personable, easy to talk to, a pleasure to talk to. And you clearly come from it as a service first attitude, right? I could sense
Oh,
that, and I think the sellers will feel that. That's
yeah.
pretty awesome. All right.
That's what I've very, very quickly is you have to figure out the other people's problem and serve them, even if it has nothing to do with your deal or what you want out of it. Just help them out, and
Yeah.
so that's a great asset to learn.
Yeah. Do you have personal goals? Like, for 2019, did you set a goal of doing X? Do you kind of think that
Yeah,
way?
so I did actually. I have a number of goals. I think one of them, not I think, I know one of them was to flip 3 homes completely independently by myself this year. I wanted
Okay.
to that goal, and that's just because I love doing what I do, but you can't stay comfortable, and I don't want to be comfortable. That's what I write my goals down every night, and at the end, I just write be uncomfortable, get uncomfortable
Oh,
because I'm
wow.
tired of getting in the same groove of doing the same thing. I need to push myself to do the things I don't want to do. Or maybe I'm scared to do, but I know I can do. And so that's one of my big goals for this year. The other one was I did want to buy a unit or two this year, but I'd like to wait. I want to get into a little bit bigger multifamily. So I know you're a pro with that. And honestly, if I change my mind, you and I might need to have a conversation definitely about it. But
I'm always there for you.
thank you. I appreciate it. I think I'm going to wait a little bit and look at multifamily units. I'd like to kind of see what I can do with that, and just kind of want to wait for some more capital as well. So
Yeah, I hopefully I'll say this for others. I think you've heard me say this a couple of times. I think apartments, especially the bigger stuff, call it 50 and above, are suffering today from the Grant Cardone effect. Right? There's just not as many total of them. Right? I don't know what they are in Fresno, but there's probably thousands versus hundreds of thousands of homes. I think homes are underpriced comparatively to bigger apartments. But there will be a time, right, when you're 24, 25.
yeah,
I promise you the commercial stuff or apartments will be back.
and I might go into kind of what you're doing is renovating, or just the BRRRR strategy for the most part. You're just trying to use that leverage to get into bigger properties.
Yeah, I mean, you read the book, right? That's exactly what I'd be doing today. Is I'd actually be stacking 2 to 4 single family duplexes, whatever they are, kind of residential stuff, because knowing that in 5 to 8 years I could 1031 out of them and use the equity as a huge down payment on an apartment. That's what you should be doing, in my opinion.
Well,
Yeah.
So that is one option that I was going to start pursuing as well. I'm kind of thinking about how I could do that, because I know that I could start getting that leverage sooner on. So
smart.
That's something to look into as well.
I like that. And the other thing I know we talked about is you went to the 10X conference in, I think it was Miami.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's give that some. I think you took your mom, right?
I did take my mom. Yeah. Now she's the biggest Grant Cardone fan there is.
Awesome.
It's funny. So I ended up going out there just because I wanted just to get, one, I wanted a little vacation, but two, I wanted to go see this conference and kind of see what it was about, and network with some more people. First of all, the thing was huge, over 30,000 people in a baseball stadium. So it was pretty big. I did get a lot of good info from speakers, and learned a lot of different tips about different avenues in business. But it was more interesting to see how he ran it and how he made that into a business, that event into a business. And I thought that was very interesting with the people he had up. There was a lot of programs provided and for sale and stuff, but just to see how he ran it and the confidence that he had doing it, it inspired me a lot, just to kind of see like this is also possible. And so I was very intrigued by it, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked before you left, and I was making wisecracks about it being just a marketing ploy. However, as you know, I also changed my mind, right? I did a whole series on people that went, and I changed my opinion because I think there's a couple of things. First off, they were selling left and right. Let's just be clear, right? He had to pay for that event somehow.
Yeah.
But what I didn't understand and appreciate until I talked to people that went, like yourself, is the networking opportunities. Right. That's one thing that I missed, right? It is so, we talked earlier about networking having battery drainers, right? Pulling you away, but the ability to be in a 30,000, arena with everyone you could safely assume is it for the most part thinks the same way, had to be an awesome feeling, right? Standing in the line to get a beer or whatever, right? Everybody around you kind of has the same mindset. And that had to be pretty cool, I would think.
Yeah. And I met like digital marketers from Switzerland, car salesmen from the other side of the states. Like there's just so many different things that people were involved in. First of all, it's humbling to see, you might think you're a hot shot in Fresno. Well, now you're in Miami with all these greater people and you see kind of what people are accomplishing. You think you might be cool for flipping houses at 20, but there's a kid making $1 million a year over there that's 18. So it's interesting to see all the different levels of people that show up. And then also to see, there's a lot of people that go that haven't really started anything. So, you also can talk to other people, help them out. I've met a lot of different real estate people, a few that have done a lot of work and have been in the industry a long time. And a few were just like, hey, I've been trying to flip houses for a year now. I can't do it,
Yeah.
So there's a whole big crowd of people who are just in different stages of their lives with business there.
Yeah.
So that was very strange. It's interesting to see as well,
Yeah.
perspective on where everyone else is at.
Yeah.
So
I think Grant deserves a lot of credit for attracting so many like-minded individuals. And
yeah,
I do think he's helping lots of people, right? I think maybe I was biased by the marketers that I knew when I was your age, right? The ones that I won't even name them, the ones that were just clearly sleazy.
yeah,
I think Grant, I mean, I think he's doing, I think on most parts, I think he's doing some good stuff. So, I think you're glad you went. Yeah.
yeah. And I think most of it, I used to think of Grant as the real estate guy, and I still do, but now it's more so Grant, the sales guy.
Yeah.
That's more what he's focusing on, but it's not a bad thing because of the stuff that he's taught me has been amazing, and I've learned a ton from it. And so then seeing him put that into action, and then I've seen him talk about the event and what kind of went in the background of it, and just seeing how that grew and came to be was just very, very interesting. So I do have a lot of respect for him and what he does.
Yeah.
But you are right.
A lot of selling. Yeah. Well, now let's tie part one of this interview with this Grant one. So now you're back.
Mm-hmm.
I actually forgot when it was. It's probably been 3 months, 2 months, whatever.
Yeah, it was beginning of February, something like that.
So how, if at all, has your business changed, your mindset changed because of the event, right? You spent a couple of grand, probably expecting a return.
Yeah.
What has changed? Anything?
So I know it's kind of hard to say this because I feel a little stupid saying it, but I had to go all the way to Miami to understand really what that 10X meant. Grant emphasizes that a lot. You need to 10X your efforts, 10X your income, 10X everything you have. And I always thought it was very cheesy when I first met him or first saw him on YouTube, even though that was what I knew in my heart. Like I wanted to go that big.
Yeah.
But it was more the efforts parts of it. Like when you think you're doing a lot, you're really not. Even if you're working all day long, you can find a way to do it smarter and get more done. And so that really hit me in terms of, and my goals as well. I kept setting my goals on exactly what I wanted. And then I would do, because I think every human, when they have a goal, their actions are always going to fall short of the goal. And so if you're going to have one, you need to put that goal a lot higher than the original one. So if you fail, you're going to at least surpass the original one you wanted to have.
That's cool.
And that's what I really learned there. Even though it's written all over every book he has, I had to go to really understand that and just understand how to go after my goals and how to achieve them, and just the mindset that it really takes to have that.
Very cool.
So, and I think that was a good return for me.
Awesome.
So,
I mean, you're going to be able to carry. So that's something you've learned that you'll carry for the next 50, 60, 80 years. So definitely 100%. Worth it. No question. 100%. I guess I'll ask, since I asked everybody else who went to the event this question, what speaker kind of spoke to you, right? Usually there's one speaker that you feel like in the room of 30,000, they're talking directly to you. Was there a speaker that kind of hit you that way?
I don't know if there was a specific speaker. I don't want to, like, the one I was thinking of was Grant, but it's kind of hard to use that when there's a lot of speakers.
Yeah.
I honestly did think it was him, only because the confidence he portrayed when he was speaking, I don't know, it really just sparked a connection with me. And I was able to kind of see, like, because I've seen a lot of the videos that he puts in the background and how he runs his daily life. And I'm seeing him on stage, seeing the confidence that he has to do what he does. And it just sparks something with me. Like, I feel that confidence right now. Like, I want to do that. I want to speak to people. I want to help people. And I just, like I was saying, I felt a connection with him, and just I could tell that he was happy that he put on that big, huge event. And I know one day that, I want to get there and be able to do the same thing.
Sweet.
So that's kind of my connection that I got for the most part.
That's awesome.
He was also a real estate guy, so that kind of helped too.
Yeah, kind of helped. $1 billion in real estate kind of helped.
Yeah.
Good for him. All right, so let's start to wrap this up. So let's think. Wow, this is going to be hard for me to say. Let's think you're 25, 5 years from now. Where are you at 25? What's kind of that aspirational goal for you?
So at 25, I'd much like to have most of my systems automated to where I'm focusing on scaling the business and networking. And then I'd really like to have to be honest with you, I don't have a number goal on how many units I want at that point. I always should. But I'd like to start acquiring units and start scaling up in that sense as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I want the flipping more to be automated so that I can use that money and go look for bigger deals and focus my time more on learning commercial real estate, buying multifamily and getting into that.
Okay.
Because flipping can take a lot of your time and it'll bog you down all day long. And so if I'm able to get that automated and start growing that business, I'd really like to get into that. I really want to give back though. That's my number one thing. I'm pretty busy throughout the day, but if someone wants to sit down and grab coffee and learn more, I'm more than happy to cut out time, just because I remember being in that spot, not knowing what to do and knowing what it feels like. Like, I want to find a mentor, but no one wants to talk to me. I don't know where to go. Yeah. So being able to sit down with people has been so much fun. And I brought 3 people at your meetup when you were there. Were all just because I talked to people. One lady called me off a bandit sign, and now she's my bird dog and good friend. So, I like helping people. I'd love to either get into some sort of training to where I can help or something in that sort. That's 100% my goal in 5 years. I want to have the info to be able to help as many people as I can, just like you're doing, Michael. Just like you're. Thank you.
No, you're very, very welcome. So let's put it out there. How can people watching this, whether in Fresno or anywhere across the country, if they want to get a hold of you, follow you, how could they do that?
Yeah, I do have an Instagram. It's at Adam Abadjian, Abajin is the last name. That's the best way to reach me on social media. If you'd like to shoot me an email, it's just going to be APAinvesting@gmail.com would be the best email to reach me at. Any questions, any comments, anything. I could spend all my day answering and talking to people. That's really what makes me happy. So any questions, like I said, I'd love to talk to you guys. And if you're in Fresno, even if you're not, I'd love to network too, 100%. So please don't be shy.
Excellent. All right, Adam, this has been so much fun. Why don't you give your email one more time?
Yeah, it's going to be APAinvesting@gmail.com. All
right, man. Thank you very much. So impressed. Again, anybody can do this if they're willing to put in the work, effort, have a service first mindset. This is this business allows you to get into that. Real estate doesn't care how old you are, what your race is, what your sex is, high school, college education, just doesn't care. Right? You can make you can make it happen. All right, bud. Thanks. Have a great day. All right.
Thanks, Mike. You too. Appreciate it.